what are you looking for coming out of the intermission here from the Lady Vols, and how do they get back in this match?
You know, I think on both sides what we've mentioned is the consistency, and I think that's what the Lady Vols need to focus on, is taking those amazing plays and moments and aces and blocks and transitioning that into a really consistent, fluid game. Here in set 4, we need to see a lot of great passes on serve receive. We need to continue to see great digs and quickness on defense so that they can get that offense in a set that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I think serve and pass battle, just like we've been talking about, is really going to make the difference for the Vols, as a little bit of a scramble play here. Shanahan keeps them alive. Shanahan again keeps them alive. Laborda to Runnels. Poor dig by Murr. Gonzalez knocks it out of bounds off of Hayward. So a scramble play to start out, as that's at least positive signs for the Lady Vols and their defense.
Really scrappiness on defense that we saw on both sides there to keep that going. Nothing was perfect or clean, but it shows how much both sides want it, as Kylie Murr dives under it to keep it in, but unfortunately it's a little bit too far out there.
And Kylie Murr is the player that will run through a wall for you, as you see there. Just literally will leave it all out on the floor, and it's a really fun player to watch. And Hayward rotates back to serve early on here in the fourth. 1-1 tied here in the fourth. Gonzalez in rhythm. Runnels, hesitation there. Who should be taking that ball between the setter and the outside?
You know, I would have to say that I think the outside should be getting underneath that. It was a little bit of a roll shot. Definitely not full swing there from Gonzalez. So I think that the Lady Vols should have had an answer for it.
Absolutely. Runnels handles this one. Set back to her. And sends it a little long and flat. But it looks like that communication we've talked about before, Runnels is asking her head coach, Eve Rackham-Watt, to challenge that, as she thought there was a touch. What did you see? It was kind of hard to see live, and we're not in a great position.
It was hard to see. I'd have to get another look at it at the net. I think there's no harm in challenging that and seeing if there was a touch on it.
Yeah, it's a crucial part here, or a crucial point here in set 4, as it'll either be a tied set if they win this, or it will be down by 2, which is what they struggled to come back from in set 3 the whole time. But an early challenge, and Rackham-Watt has already lost one to my recollection. So if she loses this one, she'll be out of challenges.
So she must be fairly confident in the challenge in order to make it and risk losing her challenge card.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of trust placed between the head coach and the players in these situations. But I don't think the cameras, they don't have super ultra slow-mo. And we can see here, high flat shot. And that's just, you know, that is a great get by our camera crew, but we don't have the ultra slow-mo, you know, 500 frames per second or whatever the crazy number is that is really required to see what happens if the finger's been back, if they're deflected or anything. And they have multiple angles. I'm not sure that's the best angle because it's so far across the net.
Yeah, from what I was able to see there, and as you said, it may or may not be accurate. I don't think Ohio State had a touch on it. What are you thinking?
Here we go. This is a different perspective here. That does not look like a touch to me. It's high and flat. Gonzalez's right hand doesn't move, and Rader, I don't see any movement in her fingers. So we'll have to wait and see what the decision is, as I think they're wrapping up at the table right now.
This has been the longest that they have deliberated a challenge card yet here tonight at the Cavelli Center. So it was a close one for them too to make that call. And they are keeping the point with the Buckeyes. There was not a touch on that ball.
And Hayward sends Runnels over to zone 5 to pass this time. She swung at the ball out of zone 2 and passed out of zone 1 from last time. So a little different look for the Lady Vols here as Murr again walks the baseline to serve long way at, I'm guessing, Runnels, but Feltz handles it outside to Runnels. And just trying to do too much, buries that ball cross court into the net. So the Buckeyes off to a strong start here. 4-1 in the fourth. Murr to serve. Runnels, perfect pass. And Hayward just shovels it over. Creates a little confusion. Opportunity come back. Runnels inside, kills the ball into zone 5.
Unlike Gruensfelder to have no motion there on that. It wasn't a close, in or out call, as we'll see it again. It comes back, and it was clearly in, but Gruensfelder just stuck a little bit.
And Fingal again, really good rhythm. Has gotten so many touches on Gonzalez, but her hands are just facing out of bounds there, and Gonzalez chops it off. Londot back to serve. Londot really started to heat up in set 4. We'll see if she can continue that from an offensive perspective as Feltz chops it off the block. Free ball back to Tennessee. Quick from Shanahan. Out of system, the Fingal kill high off the hands. And is it me, or have we seen less of Fingal since the second set?
I would agree. We have seen less of Fingal, and she is still 9 kills on the night. She's hitting .381. She's still having a really solid performance out here, but I would agree. We have seen less of her.
Yeah, it's still only second in attempts, so she's been effective, but Hayward's gone away from her. Laborda with an opportunity for the Volunteers. And now an opportunity for the Buckeyes, and there it is. Mahaffey and Fingal on the block. They're back. It's been a long drought for the Lady Vols block, but they're back. That's 10 on the night, so they're already into double digits.
Their block game is so impressive. We knew it was going to be heading into this game. I think the Buckeyes knew it as well, but unfortunately, there's just no way to find an answer for it.
Got to hit around it, I guess, as Laborda digs that ball over, and Rader puts it down, giving Rader her 7th kill of the night. And Gonzalez steps back, and Bukilic checks in. The Buckeyes lead 6-4 here early in the fourth. Lady Vols have to win this set as Gonzalez, an uncharacteristic serve into the bottom of the net. The Lady Vols have to win this set to stay around and force a fifth as Perinar checks in, and she had a positive impact coming in the second.
She did. She comes in to serve, and I think she does make a powerful impact. Unfortunately, there in the third, she did lose the serve out of the timeout, which I think shows that she's better when she's in a groove. And there is a groove for the Buckeyes. The push they needed to pull away by 2 points.
The push on that push set. A great run there by Riley Rader and puts her back to the baseline. I feel like every time she goes back to serve, she's the one that got the kill to force her back to the service line.
I feel the same way. I was just thinking that about her.
Good scramble from Tennessee, but Fingal can't quite get it over the net. And the Buckeyes 8-5 here in the fourth. The momentum feels very strongly in Ohio State's favor right now.
It does, and I think that it should be, because Ohio State, if anything, should be playing the most laid back considering they're up 2-1. So the pressure, it's not on Ohio State right now. It's on the Lady Vols.
As Feltz, her second attempt lands, and she goes back to serve now. Still down by 2. This is very reminiscent of the third set where the Lady Vols trailed by 2 or 3 the whole entire set. As Feltz puts it on Gonzalez. And a free ball over from Londot. Poorly handled. Runnels has to take it out of system swinging. That's a touch off the block. And No challenge coming, despite actually a challenge coming here from the Buckeyes, Jen Flynn Oldenburg. This is that conversation we're going to have, and I don't know. Hannah, what do you think? Is there a touch on that one?
I don't see a touch. If anything, it could be on the very top of the fingertip for Davis. I think if anyone touched it, it would be Davis. But you mentioned that trust that the coach has to have with their players. And Coach Jen Flynn Oldenburg, she looked at her players, and Pedraza and Davis both put their hands in the air and said, I didn't touch it. And so she went, she pulled that challenge card. So she had that trust. They're both saying they didn't touch it, and we're going to see what the call is.
As we see some hopscotch or double dutch or whatever this is from the Buckeyes.
3 players getting in on it. The Buckeyes, as you said, certainly have that momentum on their side right now. And we're seeing that from the Buckeye bench as well. We're getting another look at this replay to see if there was a touch from Davis. I think we could see it clearly there that there was not a touch. Let's look again. It almost looks too high over Davis's fingertips for there to have been a touch at all.
Yeah, I think the scary thing about these challenges, though, are there has to be clear and convincing evidence to overturn these. And that's where it gets sketchy, because we don't have the cameras like the NFL does. We don't have the cameras like, you know, MLB and all these, and basketball, all these like high-tech, super slow-mo, high-definition cameras. We just don't have them, and that's okay, but it makes it really hard to challenge touch calls because it makes those fingers blurry, and if there's no clear and convincing evidence, it's just not going to happen. And the call stays with the Volunteers, and that's my evidence. I think when you have a blocker say they didn't touch it, that's pretty clear. Hey, I didn't touch that, and I know because I was up there. Yeah. And there's no video evidence to overturn it. So it's just the way the cards fall on this one. And Feltz will stay serving. And Vukilich just hucks that one up. Dug by Fingal. Oh, and I like the try from Reynolds, but just can't get up quite high enough. There's some poor handling of tips and rolls and chaotic plays right now from the Lady Vols. Would you say that's had an effect a little bit on their momentum?
I think most definitely it has. I think, you know, when Ohio State gives them a tip or a roll, I think that's their time to utilize it and make it work offensively. But then I think on the contrary, when the Vols are out of system and they need to somehow just get it over the net, they've struggled with that as well a little bit here in set 4.
For sure, as the Lady Vols side out there. We look to see if they can calmly handle those as they move forward and try and make their way back into the set as Kaya Moore serves. And sends it a bit long. So Eve Rackamot has kind of rolled through her service sub options here, and it seems like she's at the bottom of her barrel, and they haven't been making as big a contributions as they did in that second set, which they won.
Again, that just goes to show how important serves have been here. You mentioned when they won that second set, they were on their serve game, and it has not been the same since.
And Londot unloads again. Fingal just can't handle it. When Pedraza and Londot are in rhythm, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It really is. Let's get a look again as Londot gets that huge swing. No way for the Lady Vols to get underneath that one without help from the block.
And opposite from Lady Vols comes right back with the kill. Fingal out of the back row. Really fun. You don't see a lot of women's teams keep that opposite in the back court to provide an offensive option for them in the back court. But two teams here that are playing each other have two really good offensive options in that opposite spot.
They do, and I think Tennessee has utilized that a lot tonight to be really effective.
Oh, biggest block of the match so far. And Fingal celebrates appropriately. She might be one of the best zone 2 blockers I've seen. She's impacting the game in immeasurable ways with that block.
She has 5 blocks right along with Mahaffey, who also has 10 blocks between the two of them.
Yeah, out of system swing for Gonzalez, and she buries it in the block again. But a recycled ball. Londot And Shanahan comes through with a little stare down at the end. And things are getting testy here. I like the Lady Vols. They're coming after it and trying to get their team pumped up.
That was the push that they needed here in set 4, a huge block.
And Hayward to serve if they can continue the momentum here. And there's a chaotic ball again, but they get it back over. Buckeyes settle in system. And touched by Runnels. Have to be an out-of-system swing here. Laborda, great dig. Runnels blocked by Londot, so she comes right back. Her and Erica Davis in on that block on Runnels.
The Buckeyes have had good performance from the block. I think it's gotten overshadowed a little bit by how strong Tennessee has been. But we have Erica Davis leading all players on the court with 7 blocks already on the night.
Fingal a little over-eager there, hits that ball out long and wide. So Lady Vols fight back to tie it at 11 and then give up two points. Buckeyes lead 13-11. Feltz with an awkward pass. Buckeyes in system. Oh, and Fingal in again on the block with Shanahan.
Almost looked as if Londot couldn't tell that one came over. She was a little bit stuck in her tracks.
Yeah, those are hard to judge sometimes as you see how close after this block stays along the net. Do I touch it? Do I not touch it?
It's right up on the top. She couldn't tell which way it was headed.
Pedraza out of system, out of rhythm. Londot, great court vision, puts it down into zone 2.
We have talked about Londot's court vision a lot tonight. She sees the openings and she goes for it. A really strategic player. She's been crucial to the Buckeyes' success so far tonight.
Yeah, Emily Londot was a highly touted recruit from Columbus, Ohio. Played at Mintonette for her club ball, but spent some time on the youth national team and made an impact there as the top scorer in her time there in the World Championships. As Feltz bangs it high off of Pedraza down the line, and Tennessee's just not going away.
They're not. It's a game of back and forth between Ohio State and Tennessee, and I really credit Tennessee because they're coming in here knowing that they need to win this set 4 in order to stay alive, and they're playing hard. They're sticking right with Ohio State. They're not going to let them have it easy if they're going to let them have it at all.
Laborda to serve, puts it on Gruensfelder. Raider, and Tennessee keeps it alive. Free ball. Raider again. Laborda can't quite come up with it.
Raider with the back-to-back attacks. Pedraza knew to go to her again.
But they're well on their way to making it to the Sweet 16 as Gonzalez puts the ball on Laborda. And Fingal with that just hammer gets a kill.
Fingal has been really impressive offensively. I mean, we've credited her multiple times. 11 kills. Feltz also with 11. Runnels with 15 kills. Runnels is who's leading all players in kills with 15.
Yeah, Runnels just making her way around the court getting kills. Raider, dug by Laborda.
Great dig.
You can see why she's starting at Libra now. Bukilic, way out of rhythm, just sends it over. Big opportunity, but Raider!
Riley Raider with the solo block there. Smiling ear to ear as she makes it happen.
A big opportunity for Tennessee, can't capitalize with that bick. Raider just waiting and taking advantage. And Raider, again, scoring a point to send herself back to serve as the Buckeyes stay 2 points ahead. Runnels, they're going back to Runnels. She tips it, and with the kill. I like that. Good confidence from Natalie Hayward, back to Runnels after she gets blocked.
I like it as well. I think it just reassures your attackers at the net that you have confidence in them to make it happen.
Davis takes a ball off the tape, and Bukilic out of bounds. So we can see the power that Buckeyes has when she's in rhythm, but when she's out of rhythm, she's kind of had to send some free balls over. So that, coupled with maybe her receive, that's why she's not on the court, I'm guessing. And Feltz puts it on Gonzalez. And there's that power again.
There it is, a beautiful cross-court kill to push the Buckeyes ahead by 1. They're leading 17-16 in set 4.
Pedraza back to serve with the long, loopy, slow sleeper. And Mahaffey with the one-footed tight slide gets the kill. And Kaya Moore comes checking in to serve again for Mahaffey. And Moore wasn't the first choice for this role coming into the night, but again, we've kind of talked about Eve Rackamwatt rolling through her serving sub choices, and Moore's been the one that she's landed on. Bukilich off that inside hand and down.
Really turning it on here. Bukilich is in set 4, and she's subbing out now, but I can imagine it has to be nerve-wracking for her, not having played the entire first set, getting subbed in there at the end of set 2 to really come in and find a groove, and she's definitely starting to find it here in set 4.
Yeah, for sure. Only 7 sets played this entire year for Bukilich. As we see the Lady Vols struggling a little bit here, I would expect a timeout to be called here, as Eve Rackamwatt does go to her timeout. She's got 2 left, as we've only taken 1 media timeout so far. Not a lot of action through the middle from the Volunteers, but good pin action as they go back to Runnels. Handled by Pedraza. Londot out of system, out of rhythm, and Runnels gets her again with a little swag coming off that.
Runnels is a really strong player, and we've been able to watch her shine tonight with her block game, her attack game. She's most certainly been a bright spot for Tennessee.
Hayward, Peppers, Gruensfelder, Davis, a little too eager and long. So it looked like Davis got a little underneath that ball, a little in front of Pedraza. How does that affect getting the ball in and hitting it down when you're in front of the ball?
You know, when you are in front of the ball, you're more likely to hit it out. I think Davis, as a player, of course, does best when she's on top of it. She's really effective when she's right on top of the ball.
All right, Gruensfelder handcuffed a little bit there, but Londot just unloads on this ball. I mean, you can see why she was ABCA Freshman of the Year last year. You can see how good of a player she is, and maybe just hasn't turned it on until this match.
She's been really strong. She has 13 kills on the night, hitting 241, 5 blocks as well.
Feltz, perfect handle of that ball. Goes to Fingal, and Fingal goes long. So 2 mistakes by the Lady Vols send them down by 2, and the Buckeyes 4 points away from a trip to the Sweet 16, but Eve Rackamwatt will take her second timeout as Runnels is pushed over into zone 4, and Murr cross court to Feltz. Fingal with the kill, and look at that, Hannah, good call.
Hey, that was a smart call by Hayward. That was the point that they needed.
So Runnels back to serve. It's got to keep some pressure on the Buckeyes here, and Gruensfelder off balance. Hayward. Feltz blocked by Londot, and Rader. 22-20 Buckeyes.
A huge block by the Buckeyes. We'll see it again. They get up there and close it down to push away 22-20.
Some frustration there from Feltz. She thought that ball should have been covered, and you know, you don't want that to bleed over late into a set, but down by 2, plenty of time left. Londot putting it on Laborda. Fingal, tentative swing, and send it over. and Tennessee just scraping right now, trying to stay alive. And the third time's a charm for Raider. 23-20, Buckeyes inch closer to a Sweet 16 appearance.
Riley Raider hits double digits, 10 kills on the night. Tennessee with a substitution. They are putting in Ava Bell.
Londot to Runnels. Fingal. And Gruensfelder just knew where she's going to hit it. Gonzalez bangs it off the block. Match point.
That
Buckeyes.
all started with a beautiful dig from Gruensfelder to get it going for Gonzalez to put it away. Everyone in the Cavelli Center is up on their feet if they're in Buckeye gear. And Emily Londot behind the service line.
Laborda, perfect pass to Fingal. And Fingal staves off elimination with a great swing. Laborda walks back to serve. Buckeyes looking for their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in quite a few years. And the crowd is on their feet. Laborda to Gruensfelder, perfect pass. And Pedraza ends it and sends the Buckeyes to the Sweet 16 as they defeat the Lady Vols 3-1, 25-18, 14-25, 25-21, 25-21. What an absolute masterclass by the Buckeyes.